Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing channel. My name is Jikara. And you already know, y'all know that we go live every Thursday at noon to talk about different topics that have to do with spirituality or some sort of woo. We always are talking about something woo here. And today we're going to be weaving in a little bit of that 3D reality, weaving in a little bit of that, what it means to be here on this planet. We're here at human in this human experience, and we're always experiencing everything in different levels. We experience our experience here in the physical, in the mental, emotional, and spiritual. So it's really important to recognize how they're all weaved in, and they're basically an important part of our journey. So today I have a very special person that I met through Evolve Me. So for those of you who don't know about Evolve Me is a platform that I've been participating on since last year. It's a community that helps bring in practitioners together, not only in community, but also to serve others. And in this community, I've been connecting with so many beautiful people. And I'm so excited because today I have someone who has been working in the mental health part of this of what it exists here on this planet. We have mental health communities and practitioners, and she is someone who has shifted from the mental health and weaved in her spirituality into her practices. And I thought that was really interesting to I'm very connected to psychology. I'm not necessarily a psychologist myself, or I'm not a therapist, but I've always been very interested in this topic. And I think it's important that we bring this topic into the conversation and to understand how we can weave these two topics, spirituality and mental health. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of spirituality for our mental health. And I'm so excited to bring someone who knows what she's talking about, who's been doing this for a long time, and who has authority on this subject. So her name is Mary Madsen-Heskin, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself before I bring her in. So hi, Cece, welcome. So if you have any questions, for this topic, please feel free to post them in the comments. We're gonna have the conversation, but we want to make sure that you're also included in this conversation. So please feel free to share your questions if you have any. But before I bring her in, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that I do have a workshop. Well, it's not a workshop, it's a live event that I have coming up on Saturday at Evolve Me. So please go in there and sign up. We're going to do an Akashic record clearing for the new moon. So please feel free to sign up for that. But without further ado, I just really want to just focus on the beautiful sister queen goddess that I have today. And I'm going to bring her in. Hi.
Hi. How are
I'm
you?
so grateful. Thank you so much for saying yes and spending time with me today, having such an important conversation about mental health and spirituality. And it just means so much to me that, someone like you who is in the field gets to come in and share with the audience. And we get to just connect with you in such an intimate way today in conversation. So thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here as well.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to just, I could have read your bio, but I just kind of wanted you to introduce yourself and just talk about who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And then also how you got started in your spiritual journey. Because I
Yeah,
think that's a really
absolutely.
interesting story, and I'm excited for everyone to hear.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I'll give you the abridged version. Basically, from being a little kid, I knew I wanted to be a helper, but I didn't really know what that was going to look like. And I found psychology later in high school, and I thought, ooh, this is really interesting. And I went into psychology thinking that I was going to be a researcher, actually.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I found out in the last year of college that I was bored. I didn't care. I didn't want to know about the statistics and, the data. I wanted just to talk to people. And so one of my professors had kind of pulled me aside and said, maybe you want to think about this thing, counseling. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Okay. And so then I sort of found my groove with counseling. I thought, yeah, this is a great opportunity for me to be of service, for me to support others, but also to just start that understanding process of who I was sort of parallel with the work that I was doing. And I worked in not-for-profits for about 13 years, mainly in substance abuse. And I worked residential, I worked outpatient, intensive outpatient. And throughout that process, we're going to be talking a little bit about spirituality. Throughout that process, we did integrate spirituality into the work that we were doing with our clients, but in a very specific way and in a very narrow way. When you talk about like working in substance abuse, AA is usually a big part of it, or NA. And there is that spirituality component, but that was the only lens that we could kind of focus on. And it felt very constricting. It felt very, narrow. It just didn't feel like it was serving the clients in the way that I wanted to serve. I actually left the not-for-profit world and have been in private practice for about 10 years. 10 years. And I started incorporating the work that I had been doing on my own, the things that sort of lit me up, the things I couldn't do in the mental health world under an agency's umbrella. And some of that is spirituality. I mean, a huge chunk of that is spirituality. And started working with the energy work. You were kind of alluding to, I sort of fell into energy work. I didn't know what it was. But I was really struggling with an autoimmune disorder. And it was like the doctors were telling me, like, no, you're on the right medication, you're on the right dose. But I never felt good. I never felt normal. I never felt like, okay, this is like sort of in the back seat. And so I started seeking out other things. And I think just with that openness of looking for other opportunities, Reiki sort of fell into my life. And I can truly say it just opened the door for me to continue to explore not only spirituality, but metaphysics and all the woo stuff. So it's exciting to be able to integrate that. And it's exciting to talk to people about how you can integrate it and why it's a good thing to integrate spirituality into mental health.
This is so beautiful. And, one of the things that I love about your story is that you started you started in the side that is very, scientific based. And, so then, you wouldn't expect someone coming from that background to even want to delve into this, but because of your own personal experience and your own, struggles, right? Because we struggle with our health and different things that bring us into spirituality. I feel like that's kind of like the road to spirituality sometimes for a lot of us is having a some sort of struggle, whether it is physical or mental or interpersonal, whatever, that kind of brings us into that space, because it's that feeling of having that like that bigger purpose, or feeling like there's a purpose to this happening in our lives, right? Absolutely. And so it's interesting to me because the fact that you're right now you're basically weaving in more into that spirituality, and you're wanting to really pour yourself a little bit more into that. And I kind of wanted to open that conversation with you here and ask you about what have you noticed in your own practice, where you feel that spirituality, like weaving in that spirituality into your practice, has helped your clients, or has helped maybe expand a little bit more of that healing, or ignite more of that healing in their own path.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. And I think, there are a lot of, I do have to say, there are a lot of therapists that probably are moving to this or have already moved to this, right? I feel like it's a natural progression in personal growth, that as we're starting to work on ourselves, it does sort of expand. And so that's exciting. But insurance, diagnosing, like that stuff's not really in line. But I think, oftentimes people come to me because they're struggling. right? And, you know, how we sort of chip away at that, how we soften the struggle, how we open them up is usually through something like connection, connecting just person to person, right? And when somebody comes to a therapist, it's a really unique relationship because there's no judgment and criticism. There's no picking on you. There's no telling you what you should do. Although sometimes I do have to be direct with my clients and be like, no, don't do that. But but you know, I think it's like you start building that connection, and when people realize that it's safe to connect, they sort of are open to the possibility that I can connect to other things. And that's one of the key points with spirituality, is just like sensing, knowing, and feeling that there's something bigger than them, but that they're connected to that. Somehow they're connected to that. And it softens, you know, the anxiety, depression, loneliness. It just sort of melts away that separateness. When people get stuck in that comparison trap, I always try to move them back over to like spirituality. Yeah, it's huge. And I think that for me personally, I can say it was a struggle. It was a struggle to get here. It was a struggle to get to that place where I felt comfortable talking to clients about it because of working in not-for-profits for so long, where it's pretty regimented. You kind of toe the company line, and you know, can't say things that, you know, they don't approve of. But I feel like if you come from a background, I come from a Roman Catholic background, where as a little one, you're kind of taught like you don't have direct connection with God, right? You can pray, but you got to go through the priest, right? You're told from just being a teeny one that like you're beloved, but you have to prove yourself. You have worth and value, but you come from sin. Right. And it's really jarring as a kid to hear those messages and not feel like, you know, angry at the gods, you know, that what am I doing here? So I think there has to be a little bit of healing. You know, I always, we kind of work through that process of like, what is spirituality? What is not spirituality? And then kind of looking at like, what are your actual beliefs and values when it comes to spirituality? And then, you know, how can you kind of integrate that? And somewhere in between there, somewhere between, you know, 1 and 4 is some healing process when it comes to maybe what I think spirituality should be or what it shouldn't be. Religion, how has that impacted my life or my views? My family stuff, my cultural stuff, societal stuff. So there has to be like a healing piece, I feel like, before we can really move into that growth, that spiritual growth process. And I think everybody hits it at different points in their lives in different ways. But I think that that's something that's really helped clients, is starting with that just basic connection, that, you know, unconditional, they call it unconditional positive regard, where I'm excited to see them just because they're them, right? I don't really care about all the other stuff. So yeah, I think it can be a beautiful piece of work, if insurance gets out of the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a big struggle.
That's a struggle. Yeah. And I feel that it's interesting that you're saying, you know, that a lot of practitioners, you know, therapists are actually looking into delving into a more holistic approach and kind of turning away, not necessarily turning away from the, you know, their background, because I feel like the background itself brings a lot of tools. You know, you're coming in with a huge tool set that that is pretty solid, I feel. But then you add on to that the holistic approach of spirituality, and I feel that really expands, and I feel that there's really beautiful healing that can happen from that. And I kind of wanted to take a moment here to just acknowledge some of our fam here, our peeps that are here watching, and there's a couple of questions already coming through, so I'm gonna acknowledge those in a few. But I see here Gigi. Hi Gigi. Hi Arlene, so happy that you're here. Cece, so happy. We're gonna address your questions. Hi Jay and Peggy, I'm so happy that you're here and that this is resonating with you. I want to invite y'all to share this video. This is such an important subject, and so please share this video. please like this video so that way it helps the algorithm know that that this is an important video that people should be watching. But I wanted to kind of take a moment to let you know that Mary actually has an Instagram. So if you wanted to connect with her, you can go to Rivers Journey Wellness, and she also has a website, riversjourneywellness.com. And if you feel connected to her and her practice, and what she's talking about, and you feel in your heart that you would love to work with her, especially in regards to, you know, weaving in your the support with mental health and some holistic therapies, such as Reiki, because she does Reiki, then definitely do consider. Let me tell you what, she did a Reiki session for me, and I was walking in the clouds, y'all. Like, I cannot explain to you how I was. I ended up messaging her. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel like I'm walking in the clouds. Like, it was amazing. So, and I'm probably going to be booking my session again with her soon, because, again, it's wonderful. She is it's so cool to be able to go to her, because she's like the perfect therapist, at least for me, right? Like, you know, to have someone that is like a therapist and also like understands the you know, the mental health struggles, but also understands the energy, like all of that is just so cool to be able to talk about that freely with a therapist. I feel like, you know, you're not looked at as a crazy person, and all this woo stuff. So it's so nice to be able to have that. It's so refreshing. So so I just kind of wanted to invite y'all to go into her website and take a moment to check it out. She's also part of the Evolve Me family, so she's gonna have other things come up there. So make sure you go into her Evolve Me as well, and hit the follow button on there, so you know when she has something going on there as well. But so I kind of wanted to bring in also some questions that are coming in from the audience. And well, Dawn is saying, wow, your story resonates so much. This is such an important topic. And I agree with Dawn, because her and I, we've also dealt with autoimmune disorders, and it's been a struggle. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting path, you know, when you're kind of told by the doctors, no, this is your new norm, and you're like, no, I refuse.
I do, yeah.
So it's almost like it puts you on that path of like finding the answer and figuring it out, and everyone figures out in a different way, different combinations, right? But so I'm so glad that this is resonating with you, Dawn. Cece's asking a question in regards to, is there a link between amazing mental health and physical health?
Yes. Short answer, yes. If you want health and vitality, you really have to focus on that mind, body, spirit connection. And I'm going to plug myself for like 1 second. Sunday, I am doing something on Evolve Me. It is body love and appreciation. It's elevating that body love and appreciation for health and vitality, because I think that there's so much that goes on. And guys, I know guys experience it as well, but women, we really struggle with it. Body love and appreciation. And I'm not talking about like just our physical sense, but our overall health, and then our relationship with our body. And yeah, the reason, yes. So the research really is showing that when we do have this spiritual connection, you know, not only is it good for our mental health, but it's also good for our body. It actually, if you look at like Deepak Chopra is probably one of the big ones that talks about how he incorporates physical activity in with his like meditation and all the things that he does for self-care, and then shows you like how the brain you know, is aging at a slower rate when we combine those two. Yeah. So it's kind of exciting to know that. And I know the short answer is yes. But there's so much more that comes with that, because when we're in a good place mentally, we're going to be more apt to doing more things for self-care. When we're doing more things for self-care, we're probably going to be moving our body, making sure that we rest, making sure that we're drinking enough water, we're reducing our caffeine and alcohol, we're not, you know, having risky behaviors or taking kind of gambling with our health type of stuff. And then we're probably just going to be more focused on like this whole package, right? Not not like the whole package, but like it's like that mind, body, spirit, right? I need to take care of all aspects of myself, because as we sort of get that mental health kind of flourishing, we start to increase that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem starts to rise. And I think spirituality helps with that a lot. But as that sort of improves, so does our physical health. So, yes.
Yeah, that's powerful. And you know what? And you brought something up that I feel is so important, and it kind of brought like a mirror back to me. You said something in regards to, when your mental health is in a good space and you can go forward with taking those moments of self-care. And so there's moments where I struggle. There's times that I struggle with the
Yeah, we all
self-care.
do.
And yeah, I can definitely attest to that when I'm struggling with my self-care, if I'm really honest with myself, I can see that the aspect of the mental health part is being that I need to address that, like kind of like either go to therapy or find a way to to talk to someone, or try to work things through in my mind, because it kind of this happens to a lot of us, right, where we kind of get in our heads, and we need that outside perspective to help us get us unstuck out of the loop, or whatever we call it. But I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but there's these little pockets where we kind of get stuck, and then so having someone to to kind of bring that perspective, I think it's so important for us to be able to move forward. So
Absolutely. And nobody does it perfectly, right? That we just need to rule out, that I'm not going to always have perfect days. I'm not always going to be at my prime. I'm going to try to do well, but like perfection, no. Progress, yes. But I think when we start to get off track, especially with self-care, like that's a great red flag to me, that like, maybe I need to talk to somebody, like you're saying, right? Or maybe I need to reach out to a friend or a loved one, or maybe I just need to take like a break, just take time for myself. To me, it's more about having that awareness and recognizing it, as opposed to like shaming yourself or being like, you should be doing this or you have to be doing that. It's not really about that. It's just about recognizing that and being able to shift gears. Now, granted, here I am in my late 40s. I can say there was very angry, angry me that would have been like, no, I'm not doing any of this stuff, from my teenage years to my 20s. And so I think that you do need to recognize that, like, it's all a journey, right? We're not going to be like, oh, I got these tools and strategies, I'm going to nail it every time perfectly. We're not. We're human. We're going to make mistakes and get off track. But it's good to recognize when you're off track, and what you need to do to get yourself back on track.
to get back on the saddle.
Yes.
So there's some questions here. People are really, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to attend yours on Sunday too, because I completely forgot, and I'm sorry, I totally forgot. You did
Oh, no,
say that
that's okay.
yesterday, but I kind of wanted to mention. I quickly went into the to the website.
Thanks.
Y'all, this is a long website, so when y'all can do. Because this is kind of long and you might not be able to remember, but what y'all can do is go into evolveme.com, look up for Mary. Okay, so Mary Madsen hyphen Heskin. Okay.
Yeah, and
You
I
look
think
her up,
yeah.
and her workshop is right there, and you're gonna find it. And I'm also gonna put it on the comment section as well for y'all, so that y'all can hopefully you guys can click it. So I'm gonna put that there as well, so that you can click it as well. So hopefully you get some more people there joining on Sunday. I may be one of them, just letting you know.
That would be awesome.
Yes, I love it. And so Everyday Yoga Escape is saying, this is great. Thank you for this important topic. Love hearing mental health professionals incorporating spirituality and energy healing. So yeah, I mean, it really is something that that is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful that that you're you're here supporting. And Arlene is asking if you do Zoom sessions. She has people looking for therapists whom are more aligned with spirituality. So is that something that you can provide?
Yeah, so the way that my license is for, so I do Zoom. The way that my license is for Illinois, I live in Illinois, I'm outside of Chicagoland, or I'm in Chicagoland outside of Chicago. So I can only provide therapy for people that reside in Illinois. That's the limits of the license. Again, a little frustration there on my side that I'm like, so for people that live outside of Illinois, I move them into like the coaching stuff, and we're still working on the same concepts. We're just working on it kind of in a different way, but without diagnosing and billing insurance and stuff like that. So there are some directories that probably you could search, like in your local state, if you do want to do like therapy, that you can click on, like spirituality, if that's something that you want to, follow through with. Now, a caveat is sometimes, and what is it not? Sometimes people confuse spirituality with religion. And if you
Yeah.
think of like a Venn diagram, like there is the middle part that like intersects, they're connected. But they're different. So
Yeah.
just know sometimes if you are looking for spirituality and they're like, oh yes, this is my flavor of religion. Um, so just note that.
Yeah, and that's one of the struggles that I've had actually. Now that we're talking about this, and I kind of wanted to mention that one of my biggest struggles finding someone was that I would end up finding. And listen, nothing wrong with religion. I don't have any. It's just not. It doesn't resonate with me, right? I don't align with with certain ways of the way that religion imposes certain things, or ways of being, or how you're supposed to be a certain way. And I also come from the Catholic background, so I completely understand where you come from when you talk about being told that you can only connect to God through a priest, right? And so for me, I struggle with being able to open up, because then I can't really open up fully to someone who, if I talk about things like, energy, and, I'm feeling a little bit off energetically, then they're going to look at me like I'm crazy and I'm from the devil. And so then I'm not going to be able to open up to them. So then, I feel that there's an essence of trust that has to happen in order for you to be able to drop in deeper with your therapist. Like, I don't think that I can go to a therapist that I can't talk about anything and then be able to drop deeper into my healing. Like, I don't think that there's got to be some level of trust. So
Yes.
um so anyway, but the essence, though, I mean, I'm going to tell y'all, I mean, I've done a Zoom call with her, and it felt like therapy. I mean, it didn't, I mean, she's not necessarily diagnosing me, but it, like, on the receiving side, what I would say, on the receiving side of your end, you're not going to feel the difference, whether it is whether she calls it coaching or not. You're definitely not going to feel the difference. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you have been seeking for a therapist, and you feel like you can't open up and you can't find someone like, maybe you're into Reiki and you're into crystals, and I mean, if you're here watching this and you're following me, you're most likely into all this stuff, onto
Yeah.
all this woo stuff. And the last thing that you need is someone that's going to look at you like, side eye, and, try to like put a cross against you because you're from the devil. So what I'm saying is, and then nothing against that, but I'm just saying, everyone has their own ways of expressing their connection to God. And unfortunately, some people are not as open. So with Mary, what I have found is that she's a very open person. We've actually had many conversations so far, and I felt very, very comfortable with her. And I cannot express to you, like, again, like I said, she is like the perfect therapist. And
Aw.
at least in my world. So but anyway, so I just kind of wanted y'all to just consider that, just even though if she's calling it coaching, you're still getting therapeutic essence from that energy that she's exchanging with you in that conversation. Because again, she's coming in with those tools, those very robust tools that she's been practicing for many years now. So,
Wow.
but anyway, so I just kind of wanted to see here. I see some people saying, yeah, I don't like the restrictions of religion. Never resonated with me either. That's what Cece is saying. I agree. Peggy saying, I totally agree what you're saying. Yeah. So again, everyone is agreeing with the whole idea of being able to open up to the therapist and talk about all these woo things, right?
Yeah,
So
and I want to say, not that there's anything wrong with necessarily religion per se. My experience just wasn't a positive one. Other people I know have had very positive experiences, and that's okay, right? But if you are looking for a therapist in your local area, it's good to have like a 15-minute consult with them first and ask your questions. Tell them, I'm a spiritual person and this is what it means to me. What does it mean to you? And even if they don't have the exact same, ideology as you or understanding of spirituality, as long as they have the openness to like, sure, I can walk on that path with you. Or if they don't know anything about it, but you really like them or you resonate with them, like if they're open to learning, if they're open to hearing like what your experiences and what you want to work on, a good therapist will be like, I can do this, I got you covered. You do want to run from the ones that tell you like, is that really what you're experiencing? Or, in my experience, that's not what spirituality is. Those are probably not the therapists for you anyway. But just, try to find somebody that you connect with that is willing to understand where you come from. And even if that's not their background, as long as they're open to that, because I know, if I talk with therapists in my circle about Reiki, they're like, what is she doing? Right? This is like crazy stuff. And then if I talk about like shamanic work, they're like, ooh, what is happening? Right?
like, what is this that you're talking about?
Yeah, but I think other people are open to it. Like, I don't understand this, but can you give me more information about it? Like, that's the person that you want to go to.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And you're right. I mean, everyone, because the thing is, all of us are here, if we really look at it from the perspective of all of us are in a specific sacred path, and we just have to go towards those who we resonate with, right? Like it doesn't mean that the path that they're on is wrong or bad. It just means that, it doesn't resonate. So then it's best not to, I mean, I wouldn't pair myself with someone who would not resonate with this work that I do, because then obviously then I won't be able to open up fully. And I've experienced that in the past. Like I have had those moments where I feel like I can't really open up about what I really feel about, my perception of my spirituality. Because I kind of already knew their background, and I knew that they, that wasn't something that they would, be accepting of. So then I would have to hold back, and then I wouldn't go anywhere. I basically did not go anywhere with them. So yes, it is important to connect to someone that you feel you can open up to. So, so anyway, so I just kind of wanted to also, I was going to ask you, I kind of forgot to ask you before, are you going to do the Reiki? Is that something you're going to do today?
Yeah.
Surprise, y'all.
We can do
So
a little distance Reiki, and we can do, I can just do some grounding and balancing of the energies. Yeah, we can do that later. Yeah.
all right, so
Absolutely.
surprise, I didn't tell y'all, right? But this is a surprise that we kind of planned a little bit yesterday, and we were kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But I forgot to confirm with her, so I'm glad that it's happening. So she's going to be sharing some of her medicine with us today. So I just kind of wanted to let y'all know that she's going to be sharing a little bit of Reiki with us, some distance healing, so that you guys can experience. So if you're here and you're watching and you're planning to stay, then you're being blessed, because you're going to receive some beautiful healing from Mary. She's amazing. I can't express to y'all how amazing she is. And I don't have to, for now on, I don't even have to say it, because y'all are going to experience it and y'all are going to know. So so super exciting that she is sharing so much of her energy and medicine with us today. And I just kind of wanted to just remind y'all to please go into her website, either share this video or like this video, or go into her Instagram, follow her, support her. So she feels the love, y'all. She feels the love.
Yes, I need that connection too, right?
Yeah. And then look, Peggy's like, wow, thank you. Yes. So surprise, surprise, y'all. So everyone's super excited about that. So I'm so happy that y'all are ready to receive. So well, before we go into that, I kind of wanted to ask you about, so you were talking about the coaching part of the experience, right? So it's a little different. So can you kind of walk us through like just an example of what to expect on a coaching session with you, and what does that look like if someone reaches out to you for a coaching session?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm probably I'm probably the worst with advertising because I'm just like, oh, you'll just come and we'll just do whatever we need to do, right? And that's kind of what I do. I'm not really great with cookie cutter stuff. I do have some programs and packages, which I do, but I feel like everybody's unique in what they're needing. And so sometimes clients will need like a little bit of Reiki and a little bit of talking. Sometimes they'll need just a full hour of talking. Sometimes they just need a little, I call it like spot treating. Like they just need like a 30-minute call of like, okay, I have this thing coming up and I'm not really sure what to do. So I think there's a variety of ways that people can receive services from me. I'm pretty flexible with that. But then what does a typical session look like? It's me gathering a little bit of information from you because I need to know what you're wanting and what you're needing. And then I also want to get a little bit of a sense of what your strengths are. Lo and behold, y'all have strengths. And we want to build on those, right? And so we want to look a little bit less at like deficits or like flaws and that kind of stuff, and look a little bit more at like, well, what do I do well? Because if I do something well, and even though some of you are probably saying, no, I don't, yes, you do. We want to build on those. And so maybe I'll give you some tools or some strategies, a little bit of homework to work on, here, go practice this, or here, try that. Sometimes I work with people that are pretty new to a lot of the things that I've been doing for years and years. And so they're like, I don't know how to do deep breathing, or I don't really know what meditation is, or what's mindfulness. And so we might do a little bit of education on what these things are. And I can either provide resources. I mean, in the moment, we might practice, but then I can give resources and places to get a little bit more information. So I hate to say it's kind of up to what the client needs, but it kind of is up to what the client needs. But that's typically what we do. And then depending on how I'm working with clients, sometimes we might check in between sessions. Sometimes they'll just pop in and pop out, maybe a few months down the road. If they need more support, they might schedule something. So it's very, I don't know, it's very individually tailored, which again, it works for me and works for some people. I know it doesn't work for everybody. But yeah, that's usually what happens. So if you've never been to therapy, it's a slow process. And there is sometimes sticking points of where you hit the pain point and you really don't want to go through that. We want to kind of slow that down, slow the pain down, right? We want to give you, or I want to give you tools and strategies to work through that. But we're going to accelerate the healing I feel, with the coaching and the Reiki, because we're able to get through to that energetic level. We're able to do a little bit of healing that might be back there in your, subconscious, unconscious mind, or wherever it might be. And so I feel like the progress that happens with coaching and Reiki is much quicker than with talk therapy. And that's the other reason why I branched off, is because I saw the benefit for myself of what really helped accelerate my growth. So the short answer is it can be a variety of things, but
yeah, but this at least gives an idea of what to expect. And because maybe, I don't know if any of you have already been on a therapy session before or not, but maybe if you've never been, you don't know what to expect. And maybe, knowing now that this is a little different than a therapy session, I feel like this gives a little bit of of an insight of what to expect. And you know, nothing to be afraid of. It's always just a conversation, right? It's like
Yeah.
talking to a friend, and just kind of just talking about the struggles. And then, you know, and then basically, as we talk about our struggles, then our therapist basically gives us, you know, little tools to support us in those struggles. And then we just go back and we practice those tools. And when we go back, maybe give some feedback, and or maybe what struggle we had practicing the tool, or whatever that is, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of just having a very easygoing conversation with a friend. So
Yeah.
um
And
yeah, so
therapy is always at your own pace. The therapist is always very clear on, we're going to take it as slowly as you need to. So that's another nice thing about therapy, is that you're not pushed into like, oh, I've got to do all this healing work. You really don't with talk therapy. It's at your own pace, which is awesome. Um, Especially if you've never been through anything like that before.
yeah, and I feel like it's also important to honor, right, where we are and what we can handle at the moment. Because sometimes one of the things that I've noticed in the spiritual community, is that, oh, you gotta heal, heal, heal. And yes, look, I mean, this my company is called the Blooming Lotus Healing, right? And the YouTube channel is called the Blooming Lotus Healing. And yes, of course, we're talking about healing, but there's also this reminder of not pushing ourselves into
Yeah.
cramming into trying to heal when we may not be ready yet. We may need to integrate some of the healing that we've done in the past, or maybe we need to sit with the grief a little bit and process that before we can move on. And so, you know, understanding that the human experience is going to be varied for, you know, for in within our lifetime and between people, right? So even within our lifetime, there's going to be variations, and then variations between people. So like, kind of like, and you mentioned this earlier too, which I that topic of comparison is such a
Yes.
big issue now. We were just talking about social media yesterday and how damaging it can be when we're comparing ourselves to the snippets of, you know, these heightened moments of people's lives, or sometimes fabricated things that are, you know, shown on social media to try to sell a product, or to try to, you know,
Yes,
promote something. And so it's kind of like it's damaging to our mental health. And
it is.
I've experienced that firsthand, you know, because part of the having a business online is that you have to be a lot online and do all this stuff. But I've decided, and you know, we were having this conversation yesterday, I decided I don't have to consume social media. I can just be here, share, and if I'm going to consume, it's going to be things that are nourishing. And hence the reason why anything that I put out there, I want it to be, you know, something that is nourishing in some shape or form, whether
Yeah.
it's going to make you laugh, or whether it's going to inspire you, or whether it's going to educate you, something that is going to nourish you in some shape or form, and not just take away from your joy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I think that, you know, we all have that responsibility, as we move into this world of information, to really make sure that we are mindful of what we're posting. And is this something that's coming from the ego, or is this something that's coming from the heart? And so we don't perpetuate that comparison thing, that, you know, issue that's really affecting mental health of millions of people right now.
It is. It is. And the crazy thing is, well, I shouldn't say crazy. The interesting thing to me is that we learn comparison from a very young age, very young age. And there is a reason why we should. We need to know what's safe and what's not safe. I mean,
Mm.
that's kind of the basic reason why we have that. This is something from our very old part of our brain that has not evolved much. And so we learn very quickly um, what is and what isn't, but then we also assign value to that. So, you know, little ones pick up on that and they internalize that. Not only is there something different, but it's either good or it's bad. And if we continue that process of seeing the differences and then comparing ourselves and assigning it's good or it's bad, we really create this separateness. And I'm different in a bad way. Uniqueness is awesome. Diversity is fabulous. That should be celebrated. But what we're doing is really compartmentalizing ourselves and saying, I'm different and it's bad, or I don't have this and it's wrong, right? And we want to really expand that. And I think that's what spirituality helps us do is, one, we get to reconnect, but we also get to see we're actually whole and complete. even if we don't have that product, even if we're, our body doesn't look that particular way, even if I don't have these fabulous vacations, that stuff doesn't really matter. Yeah, they can be nice perks to life, but well, the vacation's good. But it's really about that we're already whole and complete. And I think that's the piece that spirituality helps with.
Yes.
That we get that sense of like, okay, I already got this. Like, there's nothing that I need to be working on improving so that I compare it better or whatever it is to the other person or the other thing. But that, I'm good where I am right now, but there might be things that I want to work on, and get myself into a better place. So, yeah, that comparison stuff, ironically, social media, it is triggering for a lot of people, and that like kind of chronic scrolling through really jacks up our anxiety. So we think that
Oh
we're
my
doing
gosh,
something
yes.
like time wasting, helping us to relieve stress, but it actually increases our stress and worry. So yeah, take breaks from that, absolutely, and be mindful, like you're saying, mindful of what you're consuming, what you're doing. During a previous political election, I had to go through my feed and just remove all the people that I felt were really toxic, because it was too much to see every single day.
Yeah.
And now I go through my feed and I'm like, oh, life is
Life
great.
is good.
Which probably isn't that great, but it is skewed then the other way. But it's nice to know that, like, oh wait, people do support my ideology. People are there for help and kindness and stuff. So yeah, just be real mindful of what you're experiencing when you engage with social media, how you engage with social media, and then you can make changes from there if you need to.
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I hope this is helping y'all. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions for Mary, because you have her here, and then after any questions that we cover, then we might go ahead and then segue into the beautiful medicine that she's going to share with us with a little bit of distance Reiki. So one thing that Cece was mentioning, we were talking previous about what to expect, and she mentioned that she's never been to a therapy session. So she thanks you for mapping it out and how it goes. So so this is the thing, is like some people haven't, and I think that there's, I don't really know if there's like a stigma for some of us, especially with going to therapy. And I let go of that stigma a long time ago. Listen, I come from South America, from Venezuela. There's a stigma, anything mental health. It's not really talked about. You kind of keep it on the down low and take some, I don't know, valerian or something, and then let go, or like whatever, or drink or whatever. So it's quite interesting, like you moving here to the US. One of the benefits, one of the beautiful things that I've been able to experience here was that freedom of being, even though there's still struggles here, but compared to South America, like at least my country, there's a lot of freedom when it comes down to mental health. So I was able to start going to therapy early on, when I was in my early 20s, which was really life changing for me. I wasn't necessarily doing it I wasn't consistent throughout the years, but I knew how healing it was, and I was able to take actions and make decisions with the help of my therapist that were helping me, set those boundaries in my life, and start really loving myself, and start doing things that were self-loving versus just giving, everything away to everyone. Yeah. So it was really beautiful to be able to experience that early on, because again, it just kind of gave me that sense of brought a little bit of that sense of control back into my life, versus like feeling like, oh, I don't have control over what's happening around me, versus kind of like, oh, okay, there's some things that I can do, some practices that I can do. And Gigi saying there's a stigma with most Hispanics. Yeah, it's definitely a stigma with mental health. I'm not really sure why that is. I don't really understand it. I'm sure that if we go back into history, there may be some sort of explanation behind that, but
some ugly explanation that you probably can guess.
Yeah.
Institutionalization, of people that, so it would be Black, Indigenous, and people of color historically didn't get a fair shake when it came to mental health. So that could be part of it, but I think culturally there could be like a little bit of bravado, machismo, that sort of thing of like, I can take care of this on my own. There can be cultural stuff of like, we only keep it within our family. And there was we had so many things that we said over and over and over in treatment. And one of them was like, secrets actually keep the family sick. So if we're
Yeah. Oh my
keeping all
gosh.
that stuff to our family, to ourselves, we're never going to see like, okay, this isn't normal, this isn't healthy. I still do think that there is a huge stigma. And obviously, I'm pro therapy. Uh, but when I was in grad school, you were sort of encouraged to seek out your own therapy so that you weren't bringing your stuff into a session, number one. But number
Right.
two, so you understood what the dynamic was, you understood the relationship. And a lot of times, we have like little blinders on. We can't really see what's out here. And sometimes we can bring that into a session, and we don't want to do that. And I think another difference between therapy and just talking to a friend is, even if it's a friend that loves you or a family member or, somebody that cares about you, they're going to inject their 2 cents, right? They're going to give you from their perspective what you should do. And if you have a struggle that's similar to theirs and they didn't make choices that they felt positively about, they're going to suggest that for you, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you don't get that. You don't get that with well, you shouldn't get that with therapy. If you talk to a therapist and they've never been to therapy or they don't have their own therapist, that's a red flag, just so you
Yeah.
know. There's a great website. It's called Inclusive Therapist or Inclusive Therapy. They're absolutely fabulous, and they do exactly what they say. And so if you're looking for a therapist that you want to have a shared background with, that would be where to go. I won't say any of the competitors that I don't think are great, but that's a really good one. So yeah, hopefully the stigma eventually goes away.
I hope so too. And I know for me in particular, it's been very helpful. And also this self-awareness. I feel like that's the
Huge.
big benefit that therapy has brought into my own spiritual practices too.
Yes. Yes.
Because I gotta,
Yes.
even in my own experience, I come from a lot of trauma, okay, from like childhood, and then coming into adulthood. Really, I mean, if I'm really honest with you, Mary, I don't think I was well. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really well.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like I was struggling
Yeah.
emotionally and mentally. And so for me, it just really brought that self-awareness that has the I want to say, like, all of those therapy sessions that I had in the past, like, and then now, obviously now, so far, they have brought a lot of that self-awareness into my own experience. So then now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, that I can always see all the angles, because sometimes you do need someone outside of you to see the angles that you don't see
Yeah.
within yourself. And that's another added value of having someone like a coach or a therapist. But one of the things that I felt was really interesting for me was the fact that it brought that self-awareness, so that I could bring that over to my therapist and say, listen, I've been noticing this about me, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix this, and I don't know how to fix it. Can you tell me, like, what should I do? Right. And so it's just really nice and I feel like I feel like in a way it just kind of helps the therapist too when you bring that self-awareness,
Yeah.
because then
Sure.
then you're able to really work through it. Doesn't mean that you're gonna like resolve it in one session, kind of like you were mentioning, it takes time, but at least
Yeah.
there's a focus, right? There's a focus that you're both kind of working on to move forward. But yeah, so look at that. So Sandra says depression runs quite deep in my family, going back to my own family way back. Yeah, and that's another thing too, like epigenetics.
Yeah.
I've been reading this book, or listening actually. It didn't start with you. I don't know if you've heard of that book.
No,
Um,
I gotta check
and
that out.
it didn't start with you, and I can't remember. I think his name is Mike Wolin or something. I can't remember the name of the author.
Okay.
But the book is called "It Didn't Start with You,"
Yeah.
and one of the things that they talk about is how all of these different struggles that are related to mental health are also passed down in the DNA, and so so how some of these experiences that we're having sometimes can be related to ancestral connections. So
Yeah.
yeah, so and that's why it's so interesting to me, like this. I mean, that's a whole other topic,
Yeah.
but
But
you know, to
it's
like
huge.
look into that.
Yeah.
But without opening that kind of worms. But you know, it's just to be able to talk about these things and like talk
Yeah.
about our family history, and you know, and talk about it freely and not feel like, you know, we're going crazy, you know, and know
Right.
that we're, you know, kind of like finding a footing, a grounding on that. Um but yeah, so Gigi says it still shames me to actually say it, but it's getting better. So she's saying, she was saying being able to say she was abused, it took her 50 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And you know,
That's
and that's the thing, it's, you
no,
know,
you're
it
right.
takes, and that's so brave, Gigi. Thank you for sharing that. You know, that is so brave. And you know, and
Yes.
that's really something that is so important for us to be able to come, you know, it takes time. And my gosh, like you can't expect yourself to figure everything out, like if especially if it happens so early. Like that's my theory, and I don't know, Mary, maybe you can tell me a little bit about this, but my theory is that if someone has receive like being on the receiving end of some sort of abuse or some sort of difficult experience, some traumatic experience very early on, like I feel like then the added things that happen after, that's kind of like you have to like go through all these layers to get to that root, right? Like,
Mhm.
is that something that resonates with you?
Yeah, that I mean that's definitely a thing. And Gigi, just know that you're not alone. That it does take people. There's no cap. There's no it has to be done in this amount of time. It's when we're ready. And I think sometimes people get really frustrated that like I should have been that have to or whatever. But I should have been working on this earlier. I should have seen this earlier. For whatever reason, it wasn't time, right? This must be your time. For whatever reason, this must be your time to start that healing process, right? Maybe you're in a place of strength. Maybe you're in a place of awareness. Maybe you're in a place that it just feels like it's time to take ownership of that personal power back. But for whatever reason, it wasn't safe. It wasn't time. But now is, right? And so we celebrate that piece. Like it's okay that it took all those years to say, hey, there's something that I struggled with. But we practice, especially in therapy, we really practice supporting that, but then also recognizing, because the shame is so heavy, and really is just playing in the background. It's just noise in the background, and it impacts our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors in ways that we are not really always aware of. And so we want to just start recognizing like how is this experience playing out for me today. And if it's something that feels problematic or isn't the way that you'd like it to be, that's where therapy can be so beneficial, because we can start working on like, okay, so what do I need to do to see things differently, to forgive myself. A lot of times there's resentment and anger towards ourselves for stuff that we should not have been responsible for as kids. And so, how do I need to send love and compassion to myself? Yeah, it's a process like anything in life. So I'm happy and I'm excited that you're on that path, because it means you're ready. It means it's time for you. So that's good.
That's powerful. And we got so many people mentioning things. The you know, Sandra was saying, I've always felt sorry for people years and years ago, centuries even, when they were left to just get on with their mental health issues. How the hell did they cope with this? God bless them.
They
And it's
didn't.
true, like they didn't. And that's
They
why it got
didn't.
passed on to us.
Yeah.
Yay, we are
Yeah,
the ticket numbers.
exactly.
We got the lottery.
Yeah, that's
But
my inheritance. Woohoo!
but hey, you know, but it also, it's not fully our responsibility to heal everything, right? So like we also want to make sure that we take responsibility for our own experience and not feel the burden of having to say, oh well, I have to do this for my ancestors. But also think about it this way: when you're caring for yourself, your ancestors are there cheering on, because they know that everything you're doing for yourself is helping your family tree and healing. So and then, so for those of you who want to go into the, if you haven't watched the ancestral healing with Angelia, She was talking about how to connect with your ancestors and how to heal with your ancestors. There's another live here that I would invite you to go back and watch, so that you can connect a little bit more with that. And if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about that, I really do recommend that book. It Didn't Start With You. It really is a powerful book, and I feel it will really open your heart and your mind into what's really happening sometimes with this. And then Cece was saying one of the reasons why she was seeking therapy, she was fearing that she will be judged and called crazy. So she's grateful that she found spirituality, and that she's grateful that you use it, Mary. So there you go. You are getting so much love from the audience here. I'm so grateful.
I know that a therapist isn't going to recognize it as crazy. They're going to recognize it as pain. They're going to recognize it for what it actually is, right? That's the big difference with therapy and just chatting with a friend. Is the therapist is really going to recognize what that is and be there to support that emotion for you, so you're not carrying that all by yourself. That's another great benefit of therapy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, y'all, I'm so happy that y'all are resonating with this. And again, we're going to go ahead and segue into the healing that Mary has in store for us. So I want to invite you to start getting ready to receive. So if you're in a space where there's maybe a little bit of noise, maybe go somewhere where you can receive, maybe wear some headphones if you can. I'll probably be wearing mine as well, just so that you can really, block the noise and really be able to receive and connect to the healing that she is going to be sending to us. So I also wanted to just invite y'all to, if you are really feeling connected to Mary and you want to experience a session with her, please do consider going into her website, riversjourneywellness.com, and book a session. I can tell you, I mean, y'all already know her now. Y'all really feeling her energy, so y'all know that she's amazing. And you're gonna get to receive a little bit more of her medicine now. So please do consider going there, and also into her Instagram. Follow her, Rivers Journey Wellness, so that you know when she has other things coming up. And reminder as well that she has an event this Sunday at Evolve Me, so you can go in there, look her up, and sign up for her live event, so that you can get a little bit more time with this beautiful, soothing, loving soul that she is. So, well, without further ado, I just kind of wanted to just open it up for you to just guide us. I'm gonna put on my headphones. Hang on.
Okay. And are you gonna help us with a little bit of like reading or integrating, or at the end, are you gonna help us with that too?
Yeah. So definitely we can do. And then if y'all are open to receive some readings for integration, let us know in the comments. And yeah, absolutely, I'm sure everyone will be happy with that.
Yeah, so maybe like 15-20 minutes, something like that, and then we can kind of talk about the process. If people have never experienced distance Reiki, we can talk. Yeah, and so typically I either write down stuff that comes through, or I say it out loud, and I'm actually going to write it down as opposed to saying it, so people can kind of just tune out and not pay attention. But yeah, get comfortable. If it means sitting up, that's great. If it's laying down, that's fine. You don't have to see me. It's just connecting energy to energy, and that's the kind of wonky, kind of crazy thing about energy, is it's not bound by time and space. So my energy will find your energy if your energy is in welcome mode, and that's all you really have to do, is just be open to receiving the Reiki. You're more than welcome to set an intention if there's something that you've been working on, or some piece of you that you'd like to experience either a healing, or even just kind of filling your cup back up. If you've been feeling really agitated, or like on edge, if you just want to like chill that out, just kind of soothe that, you can set an intention at the beginning. My intention for this distance Reiki session is to, I don't know, a generic one would be to receive any healing for my highest good. Like that would be, but if you have a specific one, you can do that. And then you're going to want to just sort of release that. You want to let go of it. We get in trouble when we hold on too tight to that. So just release it and let it go. And then just settle in. There's no special breathing you have to do. There's nothing that you have to worry about on your end, just getting comfortable. And I will start. I'll probably be quiet for most of it. You will see me closing my eyes because it helps me tune everything out and kind of focus on the energy. But when we're all done, maybe we'll do a little bit of a grounding, just an energetic grounding. And then if people have questions or if we want to integrate that healing, we are with somebody that is masterfully skilled at that. So we'll send it over to you if we have time, if you're able to do that. So get comfortable and just be open to receiving. But I am going to start. I take a deep breath in. You could just hear me sighing because that was my big deep breath in. But just take a deep breath in. And just letting it out. I'm just sending a little bit of sage. I just want a little bit of sage. Smoke is one of those things that kind of draws spirit to us. Smoke can be cleansing and purifying. Starting that process of going within. And I'm going to start by calling in my guides, my Reiki guides, my spirit guides, my animal allies, my ascended masters, and ancestors. Any archangels or goddesses that are available to support and guide not only the Reiki to you and to your energy, but also for me to be the conduit. And with your higher self's permission, I'm going to invite in your spirit guides, your Reiki guides, animal allies, ascended masters, ancestors, archangels and goddesses, all for your highest good. And I'm going to be quiet, but I'm going to start sending Reiki now, starting at the crown, the top of your head. Just release a little bit of stagnant, stuck energy at the crown. Not only stuff that doesn't serve us, but misinformation. We want to soothe that feeling of disconnection. That you're not separate. Not separate from the universe and not separate from yourself. Moving down to the third eye. Again, just opening and expanding that third eye. Feeling connected to your intuition. Seeing that vision for yourself. Down to the throat. Just taking a deep breath in. Letting it out. Just letting go of all the things that you haven't been able to say, all the things that you wanted but couldn't find the words or felt like you couldn't find the right words. The times that you took on other people's hurt because of their words that they said to you. It felt too small to say something. I'm going to release all of that. Moving down to the heart. I have you do a little heart healing, heart center healing if you're able to hear. Just put your hand on that heart center, heart chakra, the middle of the chest. You're down to the solar plexus.
We want to release some of that fight. We keep our sass, but release the anger. You don't have to show up or prove anything to anyone but yourself. For giving yourself that permission to show up as you fully. Coming down to the sacral. If you have trouble receiving, this might be a struggle to receive. But you are deserving of joy. You are deserving of peace. Going down to the root. For anyone that's felt wobbly, unsteady, and unsure, just rooting in, grounding, being supported, being assured, allowing yourself to feel your strength. For a little further grounding, we're just going to imagine roots coming out the bottom of our feet, strong and sturdy, healthy and vibrant, coming out of our feet and going through the floor that your feet are resting on, through the foundation of the building you're in, through the many layers of earth, until your roots are met by Mother Nature. She welcomes your roots. She takes your roots gently and wraps them around her red crystalline heart. She gives a little tug to let you know that you are secure. Her love is unconditional for you. She provides nourishment, nurturing, and stability. She sends up your roots energy, divine and pure energy. It travels up your feet, your legs, finds your root chakra, begins to open and expand the root chakra. You're able to drop more of her energy up to the sacral, opening and expanding. A homecoming for joy and pleasure. Drawing in more of that nourishing and nurturing energy up to your solar plexus, opening and expanding. Seeing your power, seeing your grace, seeing your ability to manifest the things that you want to experience in your life. Drawing up more of that nurturing and nourishing energy up to the heart, opening and expanding. Feeling your heart chakra filled with love and compassion. Recognizing that self-love and self-care are so vital. Sharing that love and compassion with others. Drawing up more of that nurturing and nourishing energy to the throat chakra. Opening and expanding. Finding your voice. Finding your words. Knowing that you'll be heard in just the way that you intend. Drawing up more of that divine energy to the third eye, opening and expanding, seeing, sensing, knowing and feeling your intuition, and confident in your ability to make choices, confident in your ability to create change in your life. And drawing up more of that nurturing energy up to the crown, opening and expanding. That energy is going out of the crown into the sky, past stars and planets, where you receive the energy from the universe, who willingly showers you with love and light, with wisdom, with connection. Feeling rooted and grounded and centered, and knowing that you can always return to this place if you need to. And I'm going to seal in that energy with just a little bit of sound. you're ready in your own time, you may open your eyes. I'm going to take a cup of my coffee and drink.
Wow. Ooh. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Mary.
You're welcome.
That's such powerful medicine. I'm so grateful. Let us know in the comments, how did you receive this? I know I felt it. I felt it just cleansing your energies, and it was just so, I feel so light, but grounded at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We don't want you floating too high. Yeah.
Light and grounded. I love it. So
Yeah.
Sandra says, thank you, Mary. Yeah, that's awesome. She sends you hugs, lots of hugs.
Thanks. Hugs back to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
kisses. I think that's kisses. It's hugs, right? Kisses and hugs. So yeah, those are kisses. Thank you so much, Mary. Gigi says it was beautiful and grounding. Yes, it was very grounding.
Yeah.
That was really powerful. And so now that you all of you experience this, can you see how this is so helpful for us, right? In our journey of weaving and healing, in our mental health, in our spiritual health. All of these are, basically intertwined. Our physical, mental, spiritual, all of it is intertwined. So
Truly.
Jay says she saw neon flashes of colors. Yes, thank you. That's awesome.
Cool. I love that. I rarely see colors, so that's exciting. Yeah.
And then Peggy says, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sandra says she saw fiery reddish energy, and it felt very, very good. She feels very relaxed. Cece says, wow, felt so good. I have to share, I was meditating this morning, and Mother Maribam forward to shower me with love. Then I see the live and see that your name is Mary, so divinely guided here. Oh, that's so beautiful.
That is. And that's a protector. You know that, right? That's a protector, Mother Mary. I think usually associated with blue, I want to say, something like that.
Yeah, I believe it's blue, like that. Like a very, it's like a lighter blue, like a
baby.
not
I don't know.
like a baby blue, like not so much of the deeper, but more of like a lighter blue.
Yeah.
So she says,
and miracles,
thank you so much.
and CC miracles. That is what Mother Mary comes to provide you with: support, protection, and miracles.
Yeah, so powerful. So yeah, so Jay says she got chills. Yeah, I mean it's really incredible what we can do when we really open our hearts and our minds into weaving in different ways, different aspects that can bring so much healing. And so as all of y'all, so today, we just had a conversation with Mary, right? And the conversation that we had today, it can go as easy as as your session with her, right? Like this is kind of like how it's going to be. Like you're going to have this conversation. She's going to be sharing some things. She's going to be acknowledging. She's going to be encouraging, and then there's going to be a little bit of that healing, and then of course some messages that she might share with you afterwards. So this is basically that the essence of what you will receive is very gentle, and I feel like this is the best way, right? Like we don't want something that feels like so intense where it can be overwhelming, right? Sometimes it can be overwhelming, so it can be jarring, sometimes. So but Sandra says that it felt better than sex.
Well, I don't know about that,
Sandra.
Okay. We might have to have another conversation about that.
Where you maybe put bringing in some Kundalini energy in there. I don't
we
know.
were listening to our conversation yesterday.
We were just having that conversation yesterday about Kundalini and the difference, I didn't even know there was a difference between the Kundalini and the sexual energy, which I thought that was very cool. But anyway, so maybe you were tapping into that, Sandra.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? I think it's so crazy. I mean, I know I shouldn't use crazy, but it's so wild how stuff comes in that we're either thinking about, like that meditation, and then you had that name come or whatever. Then here, not that I'm on the same level, but you know what I mean. It's like you kind of get touched in different ways, and it's all synchronicities. And the powerful thing, I love Reiki. It's so gentle, it's so soothing, but it's so powerful and really helps things kind of move. And sometimes things do come to me when I'm doing Reiki, like weird. I mean, to me, they're weird things, but like I saw there was an image of like I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Shrek, but it was like Shrek and Donkey, and like Donkey saying like, we're going on a whirlwind adventure or something like that. Like I got that at the Crown for somebody, or maybe it was the collective, right? And there did seem like there was a lot that needed to be healed and cleared in the throat, in the heart, in the solar plexus. Well, I guess, yeah. And just know that like when we go through things in life, we do need stuff healed and cleared. And what our energy looks like today is not going to be the same as what it's going to look like later today or tomorrow or the next day, right? And so in this moment, this is maybe what people were needing, which is fabulous. And I get the benefit too, of Reiki as it comes through me, so that's always nice. But yeah, and so there were just a few things that just needed a little tweaking. And yeah, and I think it's true of any energetic healing modality, right? You just have to find the one that resonates with you. Some people don't resonate with Reiki, and that's totally good. You just find the one that resonates with you and what you're needing. And I think that's the cool thing about us working together, is that I refer my clients over and say like, hey, if you need an SRT, if you want to get that information downloaded for you, right? If you want to have a greater understanding of like why things are coming up, or especially the emotions. I was really struck. I've done an SRT with Jikara. Is awesome. It was so great. But anyways, the thing that was cool was like the emotion. I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because I can see that coming up in other relationships, or I can see that being mirrored to me. And it, again, kind of gives you that awareness of like, what do I need to be working on, or what do I just need to be aware of? So when it comes up, so finding that energetic modality that works for you. And sometimes it's like, sometimes I need my cards read. Sometimes I need an actual massage, right? You really be flexible with that and see what you're needing and how you find that. And so if you ever need, a point in the right direction, I think Evolve Me is kind of nice for that, because there's a lot of different practitioners. And I'm sure they can ask you, or they could ask me. And it's nice to have those referrals, because we want that healing, right? We want that peace. We want other people to feel what we felt and experienced, because it just makes the world better, right? So
yeah, it really does. And and when you're mentioning in regards to finding what works for you, I think it's so paramount. One of the things that I've learned in my own healing journey is that I have weaved in different tools, different healing modalities into my path, whether it is that I did it for myself, or whether it is that I went to someone and received it. But this has been really truly a weaving of different modalities, because again, they all tap into, not that they're not tapping into the same thing, but there's something interesting that I've learned with spirit, now that I've been doing Akashic record work for I've been doing it on and off since 2016, but really truly focused on it since 2020 or 2021. And one of the things that I've noticed with the Akashic records is that it's all about the perspectives. Like I even get to learn new things when I am working with my clients that I've never been exposed to, because I'm connecting to their energy. So then I'm learning, I'm expanding into new things. So what I'm trying to say here is that, when you're connecting to a practitioner, you're connecting whatever modality that is, they're going to be coming from their perspective, but just know that you're also providing that energy healing for yourself. So you're also being part of that conversation with spirit. So it's not just one or the other. So,
that's true.
Yeah, so Cece was saying the back pain I had near solar plexus is gone. So thank you, Mary. That's so beautiful.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Oh no, did you have to leave? But it's all good, Gigi. So she's
Okay.
saying, she said, thank you, Mary Jikara. What you're doing is incredible, and I can't wait to interact again. Absolutely. Yeah. And then also let me know in the comments. Do you want Mary to come back? Do you want her to come back and talk about more things, more topics? And if so, let us know in the comments. Whether it's here live or on the replay, let us know in the comments. Would you like more topics that are related to mental health, and how maybe there's some questions that you would like to expand into, or maybe you want to talk about Kundalini energy. I don't know. We'll see. I thought that was really cool. So Jaya was asking something. Could you tell individual items? Jaya, can you tell me, like, what exactly is your question? Like individual items that were showing up on the chakras, or just individual items that were like, can you explain what exactly what your question is, so that way Mary can answer that for you. But in the meantime, let us know in the comments if you want a reading. We'll be happy to pull some cards for you, some messages. I have my wonderful cards here, my animal. My Oh, I think I showed you this, right, Mary? I think I showed you this
Yeah.
before.
Yes. And
So
we're
I'm
gonna have,
feeling.
so I'm gonna make, so I have my animal. I need you to look up two animals, because, so I don't know if you mean individual items like during, so when it's like a group healing, I can't pinpoint like this came from this person or that came from that person, but I still can receive like images, sensations, thoughts, that kind of thing. And I will say two animals came up that I'm like, I don't really know what these mean. Otter and penguin. So the only
Ooh,
thing that I
otter
was
penguin.
thinking of,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, maybe they have something to do with water. I mean, that's safe.
Yeah,
That's very safe, girl.
they're both water. Yeah, they're both
Yeah,
water. Well, I can definitely look it up. So otter and penguin, right?
penguin.
Let's look it
Yeah,
up real quick.
yeah.
Um, and but in the meantime, y'all, let us know in the comments if you want some message. We can pull some cards and share a message with you. It will be just basically a message, a general message from spirit. And so if you would like to receive that, then let us know. We have a little bit of time left. And this was such a lovely live. I enjoyed this so much. And I hope that all of you enjoyed it as well. And also let me know in the comments if you want Mary to come back and talk about it. And let us know a topic. Maybe you are interested in a specific topic. And then you said penguin, right? What's the other one? Penguin.
Penguin and otter. Penguin is not even in my book. I don't know
Penguin.
penguin.
So I'm getting here. So I'm going into Google.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So the penguin spirit animal says, let's see. So the discovery. Oh, this one gives you discovery questions. So, what do you need to let go of? What has been weighing you down? What are you afraid to face? Um, what do you need to start doing? So those are questions from the penguin. And let me take a look here. So penguins are determined and fearless, willing to face any challenge. Their adaptability is evident in their ability to thrive in different climates. Finally, penguins are resourceful animals that make the most of their environment. These positive characteristics make the penguin an appealing spirit animal. So
Okay with
um,
that.
that could be part of it. So what is symbolized as friendliness, community? Oh, I
Oh,
love
nice.
that. I love
Yeah.
that so much. That made me so happy. And determination. Because that's the essence of what we're doing here is to build community. So that was so beautiful that came up. Their unique abilities allow them to swim through icy cold water and walk long distances across frozen landscapes. Penguins are also very persistent and usually do not give up until they achieve their goal. Oh my gosh, that sounds like me.
Love that. There you go.
Uh,
You're the penguin.
Maybe I'm the penguin. Maybe I need to start connecting to the penguin. Oh my gosh. So let's take a look at the
That's
otter.
cool.
So the
Yeah.
otter, hang on, I'm gonna go to the part where um so one of the things that they say is to stay curious and think outside the box. That's one of the things that it says
I
here
love
for the
that.
otter.
Yeah.
And let me see. I'm just trying to find the part where it talks about the spirit, the connection or the spiritual meaning. So bear with me, y'all. I'm pulling this up. I promise you. There's a lot of information on this page.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't think either of them are in one's in my regular book, not my shaman book though.
So this one is really beautiful. So positive attributes of the otter energy. The otter, as a spirit animal, basically it lets you know, like if they're showing up, it means that you have lots of positive traits to offer to the world. Not only you're curious, but also can envision great things and make them reality. It all starts by honing on your own strengths. The positive attributes of the otter energies: adaptability, intelligence, creative, and balanced. I love that.
I like that
That
a
is so
lot too.
powerful. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're oh, I love spirit animals. They're amazing.
They
Uh,
are. They are. Yeah.
so understanding the otter symbolism. So here it says, um, let me see. There are symbols of femininity, fertility, and motherhood in some cultures. So and some otters are also seen as water deities, associated with
Oh,
healing associated with healing. So I guess we were connecting to the water, which makes sense. We are in the Pisces
that's true. Pisces
energy
season.
right now,
Yeah,
Pisces
Pisces.
season. So that kind of makes sense. So what Otter teaches us is endless energy and limitless enthusiasm. Otters can teach us a lot about how to enjoy life. Sliding, chasing, splashing, gliding, and watching another play is the ultimate
Yeah.
lesson in grace and ease.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that interesting? Because there was a lot at the sacral about giving, and again, I don't know if this is collectively, if this is one person in particular, if this, where this is coming from, but it was like, or who this was meant for. But I think sometimes we all can take those messages. But it was a lot about that hesitancy to receive joy, that
mm.
I can't play because I got like tasks or chores to do. And so I guess otter would be a good spirit animal to call on if you wanted to practice that, right? If you wanted to practice joy and play and fun and receiving. And I think when we practice those things, the byproduct of it is we end up healing whatever that thing was that was keeping us stuck. And so if there's anything in the sacral, because that's where it was coming up in the sacral, then that means go play, go have fun,
I love
go
that. I
enjoy.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I know that's a message that I can receive very loud and clear. I don't know
Oh,
if y'all are gonna, I can receive this message, but I know I do. So it resonates so much with me because I've been working so hard and I haven't really
you
been giving
have been.
myself the space to play and have fun. And so now I know that I need to. That Otter came forward to remind me of that, and
Yeah.
I just, you know what, and then when I was reading the splashing and playing and sliding, it felt so joyful in my heart. Like I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like that would be so much fun just to connect with the otter
Mm-hmm.
energy and just be playful and fun and joyful and just enjoy that energy. I think it's so important for us to
It
connect to that,
is.
you know.
It's huge,
Um,
huge.
yeah, some here we got a lot of people adopting different ones. Some people are adopting the penguin, and some people are
Okay.
adopting the otter. So some
There you
people
go.
might be adopting both. I think I may be
Um,
adopting both myself.
yeah,
So so that's
yeah,
good. I love that. That's so powerful that they came through.
yeah.
And so okay, so Jay was actually asking in regards
Oh,
to individually if you see particular items when you do the Reiki individually versus the group.
oh, yes, yeah, yeah. And usually, well, I wouldn't say most of the time I'm like, I have no idea what this means. Like Shrek and Donkey. I mean, I know what Shrek and Donkey are, but like, I don't know what that, but then it's interesting because when I say it to people, they're usually like, oh yeah, that means this to me. But sometimes it's coming through my own filter. So the message that I'm receiving, it's coming out in my language. So sometimes it's like, I have to describe it as opposed to say it, but, or just speak it, I guess. But yeah, so when I'm one-on-one, then it's usually messages just for that person.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and that's how it was for me, y'all. So when I did my session with Mary, that's basically what it was. She kind of just went through all the different things that were she felt were significant that came up, and then she just basically relayed the message to me, and then I was able to basically, I mean, a lot of stuff just resonated. I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So, and I feel like for whatever reason, Mary, you bring in the spirit animals. I feel like that is also an invitation for us to connect to those spirit animals too. Like
Yes.
I feel like that's also an invitation. So
Yes.
maybe you don't resonate with it at first because you're like, well, I've never connected to the spirit animal before, but maybe that's why it's coming forward, is because
Yeah.
that spirit animal is kind of like saying, hey, I'm here, I want to help you out. So that would be a good way to but yeah, so it's so funny. Jay says she doesn't want to be greedy, but she's gonna take both of the
Totally
spirit
take
animals.
both. Take both. And you know what's funny about animals when they show up? Sometimes our like shadow side, like the thing that we're afraid of will show up, that animal. And you know, people get very nervous about that, you know, if it's spider or snake, but they all have powerful medicine, and none of them are like to get you, or you know, it's like, what is that message that I need to be hearing, or how do I need to integrate this into my either healing or growth, or you know, it's just always information for us. And the things, and I'm sure you've heard this before, the things that resonate, take; the things that don't, throw away, right? Because again, it's getting filtered through my head. So you know, if it
Oh
doesn't
yeah, that makes
resonate,
sense.
leave it. But if you're like, oh, I'm totally otter and penguin, I need both of those, take both of those. Absolutely.
That is amazing, and that is so true. And then you did mention that to me on our session. You said, everything is going to be filtered through my, through me. So just take it, and try to, see it as, try to resonate with it in the way that you can. But that it's true. But it did resonate. Even though it's a different perspective, it was definitely something, a different way of explaining it. I think that in a way it's helpful because it kind of takes you away from your own thought
Yes.
process and kind of expands you into this other place. So,
Yeah.
it is a good thing to receive that perspective that you give.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, Ye says, yes, the conversation after Reiki has been interesting. I will be booking sessions with both of you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, come
Yes.
on.
SRT is awesome.
Yes, that's amazing. And so, well, we're basically almost at the end, and I know that maybe one of you asked for a card. Let me know in the comments again, because I think I lost. There's so many comments here. I want to make sure that if you wanted a card to be pulled for you, just for a message. If not, then that's fine. We can end the basically conversation here. And if you have any more questions for Mary, just please feel free to ask as many questions as you need. We still have a little bit of time, so whatever you guys want. Today went a little different, but I hope that this was helpful for you. And one of the things that I've been loving with the practitioners that have been coming here is that they've been offering a little bit of a taste of what they do. So then you can experience it firsthand, because I think it's different when you talk about it versus when you receive it. So it's just so nice to be able to have that. So one last thing that I want to mention too is that if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, please do subscribe and share this video with anyone that you feel can benefit, who might love and resonate with Mary or with anything on this channel. Please, the more you support this beautiful thing that we're building here, then the more we can reach other people, and then we can also support other practitioners and bring more practitioners in here. It does take a lot of work on the back end for me to create these. So please, anything that you can do to support, that would be absolutely I will just be grateful. It really means a lot to me. This is something that I feel so connected to do this. And it lights me up from the inside out. Like, it really does. I love being able to have these conversations with practitioners. I love to be able to connect with all of you and to share. And in order for me to grow this, I need your support. So please do consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet, and like this video and share. Okay. So so some people are like, yes, cards, please. Okay. So I have 10 minutes. I'm going to try my best, y'all. I'm gonna try my best, y'all. So let's see. Okay, so the first person so Sandra. Okay, Sandra, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards for you. Bear with me here. I just wanna ask you to give permission to your higher self to connect to mine so that I can get information from your higher self, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask permission now. Please connect to Sandra's higher self. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so I'm connected now. So Spirit, I'd like to ask for a message for Sandra, please. Okay, so Sandra, the message that is coming through here. Well, first of all, this is an acknowledgement of Spirit. The card of Leo came up for you, and this is an acknowledgement from Spirit, letting you know that kind of celebrating the fact that you are someone who's loyal, who's creative, who's capable of really just being in your own strength, and you're just very confident and able to just express yourself and it's funny because I mean you have been expressing yourself on here, so this is just kind of like an acknowledgement from Spirit, just kind of celebrating you in that sense, and letting you know that you're cheered on for these parts of you that are being expressed now on this lifetime. The next thing here that also is being cheered on for you here is the fact that you tend to really try to do things that are very original, very unique. The card of Aquarius came up. So when we think about Aquarius, it's kind of like that energy of visualizing the highest good of humanity, and very humanistic type of energy, like wanting the best for humanity and for the collective, right? So this is something that that is being celebrated in you. Now, one thing that is coming up here in regards to something to take care of or maybe pay attention to at this time is to bring a little bit of structure in your life. So your 10th house, maybe a conversation with going back into your chart, your astrology chart. I'm not an astrologer myself, but I love this astrology deck because it really is so grounding. And one of the things that is coming up, this card came upside down, which lets me know that it's something that you need to pay attention to try to really focus back your energy into your mission, and to also recognize the accomplishments that you've done so far, to pat yourself in the back. You've done a lot of work, but take a moment to really celebrate yourself, and also bring a little bit more structure in your life. Things might have been feeling a little bit just not as structured or a little bit too flowy. So like bringing a little bit of structure, and it doesn't mean that you have to be like super like oh, it has to be a square, but kind of bringing a little bit of that structure will help flow the energy in your life at this moment. Okay, so that's the conversation that Spirit is wanting to start with you. So what I would recommend is maybe go I'm getting this message that maybe go into your 10th house on your chart and see where are the planets right now with that. There's so many apps out there, and maybe pay attention to what energies are happening right now that may be affecting that part of your experience here on this planet. So I hope that helps you and that it resonates with you, my beautiful Sandra. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a card from my animal deck real quick for you and see what the animal deck wants to say. Okay, this one wanted to come out. So, okay. So this one is the card of nourishment. So I'm seeing this message of having to wait for things to develop for you right now. Like there's some things that you're still kind of like waiting on to develop or or happen in your life. And so the message that I just love this little, look at the little mouse. I don't know if you can see, it was so cute. It's just kind of like saying, here, I love you. Put yourself in this little heart and give yourself that nourishment and that love that you need. Surround yourself with people that are going to be, giving you that loyalty as well, that Leo energy, right? Like that loyalty and that empowerment as well, so that you can continue in your path. So just remember that, sometimes things don't show up right away for us. And this goes for everyone, right? Because, we sometimes we can get a little impatient, right? But the reason why sometimes things don't show up is because things are being placed in the right timing, in the right way for us on the background. And because we can't see it, sometimes we can get a little desperate. So and then we start kind of go into the space of like, oh my God, like, did I do something wrong? Or maybe I'm not doing enough. And then we kind of go into these places that we're not meant to go to. So here is the message from Spirit telling you, hey, listen, step back, give yourself a little bit of nourishment, and everything is going to be okay. It's just now is the time to just wait and stop and nourish. Okay, so that's the message from Spirit for you. And I have time for one more person. So I couldn't. So I'm gonna try to pull here, and then feel free, if you, Mary, if you feel like you wanted to add anything, just feel free to add. But for now, I'm gonna disconnect from Sandra.
Yeah, that was fabulous. That it was the Leo always reminds me of like the solar plexus, right? And really showing up for yourself in all of your like regalness. I don't know if that's a word, but in your regalness and power, right? But then also knowing that there has to be that balance to it. So yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah, and I love the conversation that happened with these cards were really beautiful, because it was like the acknowledgement from Spirit, kind of like letting you know, hey, like, it's almost like Spirit wanted, like, your higher self wanted you to know that you're being cheered on, and that beauty of who you are. Like, I don't know, it's just so beautiful that when we get those messages of cheerful, like, we're here and we see you, and and here's the mirror back at you, so that you know that we see you and we love you. And there's times when I see the messages like that and I cry, because it's like, oh, I'm being acknowledged. Oh my God, So I hope that you felt that in your heart, Sandra.
That's the power of spirituality, definitely. Yeah, that's super powerful.
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull for one more person, and let's see. Okay, so Jay, I'm gonna pull for you. I just need you to give permission to your higher self to connect to mine, so that I can get the information directly from your higher self. So just give permission, please. All right, receive permission. Thank you. Please connect to Jay's. Thank you. All right, so what message do we have for Jay at this moment? Powerful. Okay, Jay. So I hope that you are ready for this. So the first card that came up was a very powerful card, which is the card of Pluto, which is all about transformation. And the card kind of came up upside down. So that what lets me know is that you may have been struggling a little bit with that transformation, and that's okay. Listen, change. Right? Change is difficult. Okay. So I completely understand. So just kind of giving yourself that space of, well, maybe like kind of like what you did today. You showed up to a live, you got some support. You're building up community, like being part of, of communities that are going to support you throughout this transition. I think it's very, very, very good. Right. So the other thing that I showed up here was the North Node. So that lets me know that you're right now in this path of, like, you are, I'm thinking the word in Spanish. What the word in Spanish is, like, you are on the way, right? Like, you are already on the way of living the pathway for for the reason why you came on this planet. So like you're already on that beautiful path, which is so beautiful. So really like that understanding that that, you know, even though Pluto came up, and you know, that transformation is part of the journey, you know, that's quite literally taking you exactly where you need to be. And you know, one thing that you also are being invited to do is to well, so the energy of Libra came up. So when I think of Libra, I think of, you know, harmony. I'm thinking about relationships and bringing harmony in relationships, and having that fairness and that justice in regards to your relationship. So bringing a little bit of that Libra energy into your relationships, into your interactions, and also, okay, this card wants to come through for you, girl. Okay, well, let me tell you what, you got this card. Claim your power. I mean, my God, that jumped out. That quite
That's
literally just jumped out
awesome.
out of the. So so I just kind of wanted to kind of like let you know. Well, first of all, I mean, there's a lot of really powerful energy here, but the message here from Spirit is that it's almost like you're already again on the path. Like you're on the path. You are yes, there are some things that are transforming, changing, but that you are quite literally on the path. Like some people are facing their south node, and that's their past. You are quite literally facing your, like, when I see the message that I see for you is like I see you facing your north star, like your path, like where you're supposed to go, which is so
Awesome.
powerful.
That is.
So believe that, girl, and claim that power. What? Look at
That's
that. That
awesome.
is so powerful. That is like solar plexus energy right there.
Yeah, truly.
So yeah, so that is what I got for you, beautiful Jay. Tears of joy. Yay. Okay. I love that.
Oh.
That's all I have for you. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect from your higher self now. Let's disconnect. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so that's all I have. And we are already over the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and close down the live. We want to make sure that we are honoring the time of everyone here. But we will be here again next Thursday. I will be here with Dawn talking about crystals. Yes.
I was
So,
good. Shout out to Dawn. I used crystals today. I was thinking about her.
oh yeah, you did say that. Well,
Uh,
but yeah, so I just kind of wanted to invite y'all to come back next Thursday. We'll be doing the conversation about crystals the first hour. Second hour we'll be doing some more readings. So if I missed you this time, don't worry. Next time we'll get you. Okay, just come on in and we will try to get as many as we can. So I just want to again invite y'all to go back into Instagram and follow. If you haven't followed our beautiful Mary yet, please do follow her and go into her website, riversjourneywellness.com. And also, I wanted to invite y'all to go into Evolve Me. Both of us actually have something going on. So I have something on Saturday, and she has something going on Sunday. So hell, I just want to say, like, you just gotta be on the party this weekend. Like, just come to the party on Saturday and Sunday. And
exactly.
just
We'll
just
get
be
you
here.
right.
Yeah.
We'll get you.
So I kind of wanted to invite y'all, just find us on Evolve Me. You can go to evolveme.com and find us there, find the things that we have going on there, and sign up for the the events. And last thing, please, subscribe to this channel, support in whichever way or shape or form you can. Also support our practitioners that come here. It really means so much to me to be able to say, hey, come to my live stream, and that they get something out of it. They get either more followers, or they get maybe someone that actually books a session or purchases something from them. Like, it means so much to me, because it makes me feel like I'm actually serving these people that are coming in, sharing so much of their knowledge. So I just kind of wanted to end that with that. And do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
Just thank you for inviting me. It was fabulous, and it was exciting to meet your community, and I can't wait to connect again.
Yay! Awesome. Let us know in the comments. Do you want her back? Let us know in the comments. All right. Love you all.